Good evening and many thanks for joining me on the Primetime News Ship as we navigate current affairs waters. I'm Salima Shumwefeleni Masipa. Leading this bulletin, NamPower has denied recent reports that it has received communication from Finance and Public Enterprises Minister Ipumbu Shimi regarding a cabinet directive to halt the planned power suspensions of local authorities pending further consultations. Shalva Wells compiled our lead story.
NamPower, in a statement issued on Wednesday, stated that after careful consideration, the board of directors unanimously decided to exercise its fiduciary responsibilities to the company and to protect the company and stakeholders' interests. The board and management decided to go ahead with a disconnection plan, as it is in the best interests of the company's financial sustainability and the country's electricity supply. Meanwhile, Shimi on Tuesday in Parliament said the power utility has not responded to a request by the ministry to provide information on debt settlement by defaulters. The ministry then briefed Cabinet on the deteriorating debt situation of local authorities, as well as NamPower's intention to suspend power to defaulting local authorities. Shimi added that Cabinet directed NamPower to hold the planned power suspensions, pending further consultations with the Ministries of Finance and Public Enterprises, Urban and Rural Development, and local authorities. Reporting for Primetime News, I'm Michael Madimba.
Switching attention to developments in the beef industry, Minister of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform, Kale Schlettwein, says there is a need to equalize economic opportunities in the country's meat industry, north and south of the veterinary cordon fence. Speaking to the Namibia Press Agency at the announcement of newly elected Meat Board of Directors in the capital on Wednesday, Schlettwein said Namibians should not allow a situation where the cordon fences erodes economic opportunities on either side of the fence. Linnea Dishena brings us this report.
Minister of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform Kale Schlettwein emphasized that the veterinary cordon fence does not hinder government's ability to find international markets for meat above the red line, noting that currently meat from the northern communal areas is being sold to China and Africa. Schlettwein noted the fence is only an animal disease control prevention, especially in the event of a foot and mouth disease outbreak, which has a high risk of killing animals and spreading to areas where there is no vaccinated animal population. Schlettwein further explained that the current High Court case is an issue of northern area cattle owners not being able to consume the meat south of the country, stressing that it is a domestic issue and does not hinder international market access for northern communal areas farmers. In a case filed on 26 May 2021, affirmative repositioning activist John Amupanda is seeking a court order to have the 1896 colonial demarcation removed, declared illegal and unconstitutional. Meanwhile, Schlettwein in 2021 indicated that removing the fence could be catastrophic to the entire beef industry in the country, which is estimated to be valued at more than 7 billion Namibia dollars per year in defense of animal health.
Moving on, the Namibian Police Force earlier today held a meeting with the Namibia Agricultural Union and Namibia Emerging Commercial Farmers Union at the Police National Headquarters in the capital. Speaking at the engagement, Inspector General of the Namibian Police Force Joseph Shikongo emphasized that agriculture is one of the pillars of national economy and the police force remains committed to protecting life and property as per its mandate. Shikongo called on all stakeholders to emulate the good example set by the Namibia Agriculture Union in combating crime in Namibia. Let's have a listen.
Agriculture being one of the pillars of the national economy, and considering that one of the police mandates is to protect life and property, as per the Police Act of 1990, Act 19 of 1990 as amended. It is therefore vital that farmers and their properties become one of our priority when it comes to the execution of their foresight mandate. I'm therefore appealing to all stakeholders in all other crime patterns to emulate the good example set here today by the Namibia Agriculture Union if we wanted to make a dent in fighting crime in Namibia.
Moving on, Deputy Minister of Information and Communication Technology, Emma Theopheles, during a consultative meeting between Namibia and Estonia earlier today, revealed the ministry recently signed a memorandum of understanding with Think Impact Tank. The purpose of this partnership is to facilitate the rollout of digital skills in Namibia with a specific focus on the Digital for Development Hub. This initiative aims to equip young people with the necessary skills to address youth unemployment in the country, as well as enabling them to work remotely, both domestically and internationally.
Moreover, the Ministry of ICT has signed an MOU with partners, most recently Think Impact Tank, to ensure that we're able to have digital skills roll out in the country, and particularly this D4D Hub project that we're rolling out in the country, you'll hear more about today, where we want to address youth unemployment with skill sets for young people, not only to operate in the country, but also to one day telework across the world. Digital skills as they are today are meant to ensure that they meet e-governance progress. As you know, the Office of the Prime Minister, in collaboration with various ministries, nowadays you can apply for a passport online, but only somebody with the necessary literacy and skills in the digital world will be able to access those services. The Ministry of Finance put together an e-procurement to ensure that anybody who would like to bid for any government contracts are able to do it online. This requires some level of literacy skills for that person to access these opportunities. And moreover, when you speak to the MNOs, the mobile network operators, they're challenged with actually rolling out more opportunities in terms of ICT services, because there is a lack when you go into the most rural parts of the country where people don't have digital literacy and only use their mobile phone for text and message and phone calls without using any other services on that network tower. So there's so much work to do, and every stakeholder in this room will be the accelerating effort to ensure that we have digital skills and digital literacy in this country. And that is why we are all convened here today, for all of us to work this journey with us as a government, but more importantly, to do so with vigor and with the ability to change the status quo in our country.
When we return, we get to find out more on Namibia's trade balance. Stay tuned for the top roundup. Welcome to the business segment. We commence with trade statistics. The month of April 2023 saw the country's trade balance improving by 1.4 billion Namibian dollars. Namibia's trade deficit stood at 3.5 billion Namibian dollars as of April 2022, compared to the trade deficit of 2.1 billion Namibian dollars as of April 2023. This is contained in the Namibia Merchandise Trade Statistics Bulletin released by the Namibia Statistics Agency on Wednesday. More statistical insights from this report.
NSA said international merchandise trade plays a crucial role in economic development as it links producers and customers located in different countries into a global economic system. In this context, the agency said the availability of timely and high-quality trade statistics becomes a precondition for an in-depth analysis of the employment, production, income, consumption, and overall welfare at the country and global levels. NSA further added that Namibia's trade composition by partners showed that South Africa emerged as Namibia's largest market for both exports and imports. The composition of the export basket for the month of April 2023 mainly comprised of minerals such as diamonds, non-monetary gold, uranium, copper blisters, and fish. Fish remains the only non-mineral product within the top 5 products exported. The NSA said the import basket mainly comprised of petroleum oils, motor vehicles for the transportation of goods, iron and steel bars, motor cars for the transportation of persons, as well as civil engineering and contractors' equipment.
On to environmental matters, the establishment of the national validation of the carbon markets framework will place Namibia among the front-runners in the Southern African Development Community to pilot and support its development and implementation. Environmental Commissioner Timotheus Mufeti expressed this position during the opening of the validation workshop on the development of Namibia's carbon markets framework at Walvis Bay on Wednesday. More from this insert.
According to Environmental Commissioner in the Ministry of Environment, Forestry and Tourism, Timotheus Mufeti, the government of Namibia recognizes that achieving the 2030 ambition of reducing national emission requires all stakeholders to work towards a low-emission future. He noted that the project is establishing a conducive and enabling environment for Namibia to pursue carbon market-based pricing options to allow for more stakeholders to participate in addressing climate change and emphasize the importance of public and private sector contribution. Japanese ambassador to Namibia, Nisimaki Hesau, at the same event highlighted that carbon finance has been demonstrated to be one of the successful and effective ways to de-risk private sector investment and accelerate low-carbon investment in developing countries.
Carbon markets have the potential to provide large-scale investment to meet the conditional commitment of Namibia's NDC through additional public and private climate finance. Honorable Governor, ladies and gentlemen, lastly, I would like to express my gratitude for the cooperation of the Namibian government through the Ministry of Environment, Forestry and Tourism and UNDP in the implementation of this project in addressing climate change through carbon markets.
Funded by the Japanese government, the national validation of the carbon markets framework was prepared on international carbon markets as a national arrangement for engaging in Article 6 of the Paris Agreement.
This brings us to the end of our top news segment for tonight. It's now a look at what the weather forecast has in store for us across the country. Welcome to Sport Planet. We begin the segment with Namibian football. The captain of the winning team in the 2023 Namibian Newspaper Cup, Hendrik Mohera Siemo, has set his sights on playing Premier League football with Rundu Chiefs as well as representing the Brave Warriors. The 18-year-old central midfielder recently joined Rundu Chiefs, a team in the Northeast First Division. In an interview with the Namibia Press Agency recently, the starlet expressed his satisfaction with playing for Rundu Chiefs, a football club with a rich history. On to the English Premier League. The end of the Football League presents an opportunity for clubs to reinforce, rebuild and recalibrate. Liverpool have no time in that regard with the signing of Brighton's World Cup winning Argentina international Alexis Mac Allister. A fee has not been disclosed, but it is understood the 24-year-old had a release clause believed to be around $56 million in a contract he only signed in October. It is understood the Argentinian has signed a 5-year contract. Mac Allister has been on the club's radar prior to his move to Brighton in 2019, but the club felt his development was still in its early stages, although his versatility to play in several positions was a key factor in their interest. Mac Allister's age and his 160 career appearances fit in with the demographics of some of the club's most successful signings like Mohamed Salah, Virgil van Dijk and Roberto Firmino, and represent the start of an overhaul of a midfield which lost James Milner, Naby Keita and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain at the end of their contracts. Stay tuned for your sports roundup. This is where we dock off for tonight. Much appreciated for tuning in. Do make a date with us tomorrow for this week's last edition of Primetime News. From myself, Salima Shumwefeleni Masipa, and the entire crew behind the scenes, it's good night.